So, here we are, sitting in my living room. I'm just listening to the television from the other room, where there's a service going on in London, in Westminster Abbey, as a memorial for the people killed recently in a terrorist attack. All the great and the good are there, of course, and no doubt it will give comfort, especially to those who lost friends and family. As for me, a little bit later on in the day, if the rain doesn't come on, I plan to go to Brodie Castle, which is only about 4 or 5 miles from here, to have a look at the daffodils, which at this time of year are usually rather nice. I wanted to go yesterday, in fact, but it was cold. It was cold and a bit drizzly, tending to sort of heavier rain at one point. So it really wasn't going to be a very pleasant or suitable little outing. So hopefully the wind that we had later in the day yesterday won't have blown over too many of the daffodils on the long walk. We'll have to wait and see what it's like. I think that's about enough for now. See you a bit later. Right, next there's a brief clip taken from the television of London Mayor Sadiq Khan before the service was due to begin. I've not recorded any of the service itself, although I did watch a little of it. Anyway, here's the Mayor.
These things, we practice these things, and we hope and pray we never have to implement all the things that we've planned and prepared for. And what's really important is we as a city have shown our resilience. This service today is one of hope. We aren't going to be cowed by terrorists. And what was remarkable about the day was how you saw our police and emergency services rushing towards danger, encouraging others to run towards safety and show the very best of humanity and the very best of London.
We saw.
There follows some clips of my stroll along the long walk and part of the pond, lake really, at Brodie Castle this afternoon. Unfortunately, toward the end, there was quite a lot of wind noise when I was turning the camera in certain directions. So I've left them in because I didn't have any other clips to include, but I'm sorry about that. I hope it won't affect the video too much. Right, well, I am now out at Brodie Castle, just a few miles outside Nairn, 5 miles or so from Nairn to the east, and I'm just strolling down the long walk. You'll see the castle behind me and some of the daffodils just on the paths at the side, beside the trees. Now the long walk extends quite a long way down to a large lake at the other end, and I shall be down there in a few minutes, and I'll probably take a few more shots at suitable points throughout my little stroll. See you later. Now the sun is out, just briefly perhaps by the looks of the sky, but I'm taking advantage of it anyway. We've reached a point on the path where there's a large display of daffodils, which I hope you can see some of them at least. It's on both sides of this large, broad, long walk, and just in the far distance I hope you can just get a glimpse of the lake, where I shall be in another few moments, I expect. Right, well I now reached the end of the long walk, crossed the small road that's there, and I'm now beginning to go around part of the lake, which is at the far end of the long walk. There are one or two swans on the lake, and I probably won't go the whole way around the lake because I do this walk quite regularly. But it is nice to see it in the beginning of spring. When I was last here a few weeks ago, there are some photos on Instagram and on Facebook of that. There was still some ice on the water, so it really was rather a cold day. I see the other pair of the other member of the pairing of swans is just over there with some seagulls, so that's very nice. On. Right, well I've now reached about as far as I'm planning to come around the lake today, just about halfway down it I suppose. You see there's a little bird lookout on the other side, a wooden structure, but I'm not going to go around there today. But it is rather a nice day. I think in the car when I was driving here it was about 10 degrees, so it's not, and there is quite a sharp wind, so although 10 degrees might sound okay, it is in fact quite chilly when you're out in the breeze. Right, before I head on up the long walk, I'll just have one final view of the lake. I'm just going to go back onto the long walk. Which are more or less together at this end. And the sun has come out again briefly, which is nice. So I'm continuing to walk up the long walk on the other side from the way I came down, just for a bit of variety. You'll see the lake in the distance there, and as I turn round you'll be able to see, I hope, and some of the daffodils. I'd say they're not as good this year, and indeed for the last few years they've not been as good as they were, say, 10 years ago, but they still make a colourful scene in a still somewhat grey tail end of a Scottish winter. Hopefully the little cafe at the castle will be open when I get up there, so I'm planning to have myself a coffee and a carrot cake or something sinful. I mentioned toward the end of the clips that I was headed for the cafe in the castle to get some coffee perhaps and a carrot cake, a piece of carrot cake. I did have a lovely cup of decaffeinated latte, which is what I tend to take on these occasions. Unfortunately, they didn't have any carrot cake today, but I had a very nice walnut and rhubarb cake, which was really quite nice. Later on in the afternoon I went and did some more shopping, and I'll probably put a photo amongst the roll on Instagram and in Facebook of one of the items I bought, which is rather nice, a piece of Spanish air-cured ham, which I've never actually bought like that before. I've eaten it before, but I've never had my own with a board, so I thought that was rather fun. Anyway, that's my video concluded for today. Take care, everybody.